I'm
Yeah.
curious, when you look back at your life, were you ever enticed by, the quote unquote bad kids or the bad crowd to ever run with them?
Of course.
Now,
Yeah.
how did they approach you? What that look like? Take us back.
Well, honestly, it wasn't even an approach type of thing. I would even say growing up in school, it was really like, I'd say I ran with everybody. It wasn't necessary. I'm not a judgmental type of person. So I'm never going to look at somebody and go, oh God, get away from me. You don't look like me. Like, that's not me. I hung out with everybody. So whether they were good kids, bad kids, whatever. So whatever people do, and you hang with them, you naturally do the same thing. Or you're able to go, you know what? Nah, that ain't what I'm going to do. So there were some times where I was like, yo, I'll go. No problem. And then I see what they were doing. I'd be like, whoa. Mama P, she ain't gonna like that too good. Like this is before I had my relationship, and we talk about earlier in Proverbs, like, hey, dependent, like all of that. It made me think, if my mama found out about this, it's not gonna be nice. So I got to go, y'all. Or y'all want to do what? If the principal find out, she gonna tell my mama, and then I won't be able to sit down for a little bit. No, I'm not gonna do that. But as I get older, it's more so like, you know what? How do I feel about this? What does this look like for me? Like, I got a lot to lose. Like, no. So, growing up, it was really, nobody really coerced me to do anything because That
was the word I was looking for. That was the one. Coercion. That's it.
But I learned a new word though.
Right.
I learned a new word.
Duress and coercion, baby. Yes, the word of the day.
That part. But yeah, nobody really coerced me to do anything, but I've always been very inquisitive. So an inquisitive nature sometimes can get you in trouble.
Oh man, who you telling?
Yeah, so I've always been inquisitive. Even now, I'll try anything once. I always say that. And that's gotten me into some trouble here and there. But yeah, so I would say nobody coerced me to do anything unless I was a little girl. But as I got older, no, didn't nobody force me. Whatever I wanted to do, I did it because I wanted to. Right. But at the same time, there were times I was like, you know what? I shouldn't have even done that. Why y'all do that? Yeah. What? Y'all keep doing that, but I don't want to anymore. Yeah. So, yeah.
I definitely, I have been in situations where two things come to mind. One is like in the past with one of my best friends, I could kind of see we were going in different directions, right?
Okay.
And he was starting to, at the time, show a little bit more interest in girls than I was. Like, don't get me wrong. Okay. I was definitely interested in girls. I had me a girlfriend out. Back then, it was like a different girlfriend every few weeks or whatever, I'm assuming that's how it was with some people, but like, it wasn't like serious relationship, them grade school.
Yeah, right.
So, I started noticing he started hanging around different people. And, I don't know if you ever been like in a friend circle or had a close friend and then, somebody else enters into the picture and that person kind of starts to veer things into a different direction. And that's essentially what happened. Like he started hanging out with somebody in addition to me, and that person was into some stuff that just didn't appeal to me. And it ultimately led to, them crossing some lines, that didn't need to be crossed. And I was grateful at the time that, I wasn't just about to follow along. I thank God to this day that I'm not the type of person that just follows the leader, right? Like I've always, as you mentioned, have been an inquisitive person. I've always, in addition to that, like it's one thing to be inquisitive, but I am a very strong-willed person too.
Right.
So at the same time, that means that when somebody is judging me or, they bringing me to the table, I'm gonna have a very hard time trying to convince somebody that somebody made me do something, right? Like if I was made to do something, it definitely was outside of my will, because if I can fight back, if I can stand up for myself and not do something because I don't want to do it, then I'm gonna definitely do that. And then there's another instance where this time I was rolling with somebody that I trust. Names I will not say. And, their friend group was a little out there. They was like about that life, if I could put it like that. And one time, and this is the instance, I told you earlier how like sometimes it just be the right time when stuff happened. This is one of the instances where I was in college, right? And I still had homies back home. So I came home, I think it was winter break or something. So I'm hanging out like, I ain't see my homies. Let's hang with the homie. But I didn't know the homie was going to be hanging with all his homies. And we went out. And I mean, that was a night to remember. I look at it as that was a night that we did nothing illegal. I want to be clear, nothing illegal.
Right.
But it was things that were outside of my purview. Right. Like we went to a game. Like I think one of their schools was playing or something. Like it was some game. And like these dudes got into a squabble. I'm like, whoa, this isn't my life. Like I mean, like if somebody try me, yeah, but I don't go to games and be like, because my man said something or because he go to a different school, y'all about to throw down right here in the hallway. I'm like, I'm like, what's happening? This
right.
I was, but yeah, I'm being very facetious right now. I had an outer body experience at that moment. Like, whoa, this can't be happening. Like, yo, right. These dudes squabbling right here, right now, and it got to the point where when it was a wrap, like they running and said, "That's my ride." Like I didn't follow your parents' advice. I needed Papa P to give me that insight that I should have had my own whip. Because guess what? The driver, he was out there squabbling with the rest of them. And that was my ride because that was my homeboy. So It was one of them instances that I'll never forget. I thank God. I don't know about you, but I got moments in my life where I'm like, I thank God. I thank God.
There's some instances it's like, yo, there's only the grace of God that I'm still alive to tell certain stories.
Right.
Because there's some times where I'm like, yo, I know people they're not even here. Or they're here, but by the skin of their teeth, or they're really traumatized by certain instances. And everybody has their own trauma. But I'm glad that you pointed that out because, there's certain instances where you're like, yo, I was running with different stuff. And that was like a dope time. But if I think about that, that's a wild time. Like I think about my college years and I'm like, that was a wild time. Like, whoa, how are you still here, homie? Like, what is you doing? You just out here like, oh, Lord. But yeah, it really makes you think like, wow, sometimes you can't run like you used to. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
At some point, what I think is the Bible that even said, I had to put those childish things behind me or beside me. I had to put them away.
Because as a kid, you think you're invincible. You think like, oh, I have all this time. That. You don't think about choices and ramifications for your actions. You thinking, I want to have fun. I want to have a good time. And all my friends are doing it.
Yeah.
So I want to do it. But as you get older, you can't say all my friends are doing it. No, they're not. You have groups and clusters of friends. I mean, I do. Yeah. I have groups of friends who have different things. I got my turn up people if I want to do that. I got my Zen folk. I have my entrepreneur
Zen folk.
friends.
I like that. Like Ken folk, but they Zen folk, baby.
They just Zen. I got my entrepreneur friends. I have my professionals. Like you have different categories because that's the world you're in as an adult. But if you group them all together, no, it's going to be a lot going on. But you have to make sure that, hey, where do I fit in? Exactly. And if you don't fit in anywhere, okay, you're going to start grouping yourself with certain people. Trying to figure it out. And then you get grouped into we all have one burst. It's like, oh, no, we don't. I want to turn up all the time. I got to go to work. Well, you group with us. You said that's what you wanted to do. So what you doing? And you're going to burn out. Where, like you said, you have to be able to say, yo, I'm kind of inquisitive, but yo, I'm strong-willed. You ain't going to make me do what I don't want to do. You have to be able to get out the car like Cuba did.
Right.
More than other. You can be upset about something, but you can't just destruct. Right. You cannot. And I feel like we all
get out the car.
Yeah, you got to be able to get out of the car. That's the biggest word of the day is, can you get out of the car? How you gonna get out of the car?
And that's what Solomon is talking about, right? Those things that are going to get us in the car and those things that will either prevent us from ever getting in it or in some instances when you have the opportunity to get out of it.
Get out.
Right? Because sometimes we don't realize until we already got in there.
Yeah. And then we like, oh man. And it's like,
well, y'all ain't got no AC in here? Like, I mean, you ain't tell me you ain't had no AC. Like, I mean, my goodness.
Be like, y'all know where we going?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that'd be nah. You just hit on something. Now, if somebody ain't giving you the locale, Like, to me, that is red flag number one. I'm going to need you to pull right on over.
Exactly. Just drop me off here. I'll get home any type of way I can. I thought about it. I'm not.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing, though. I don't ride with people no more.
Yeah.
If I can't go there myself, don't worry about it. Because some people have different intentions, different ways they're going, and you don't know. So you always have to be able to say, you know what? I think I'm going to leave now. Y'all be blessed. Thank you so much.
And you don't know how some people riding, right? Like, let's be real. Some people ride dirty.
Right? Yeah, some people ain't got no insurance. Right. Some people just don't even care. Some people tagged expired. Some people got stuff in the trunk.
That's what I was alluding to. You got there. Yeah, you got see like that. That's what I started to realize.
Some people ain't got no papers. Like what? You just out here. You got a whole gun and a shotgun in the back. What happened?
Like I'm gonna need to know that. Like for real. Like you
got pounds of weed in your trunk. Right. I did not know this. Like, what is going on? You have to know the type of people you're around. Facts. You just do.
The law ain't gonna care. Like,
they don't care.
The way our laws are set up,
they don't care. You are guilty by association
on us. Right.
That part. You can't just say, hey, I just met her. She was giving me a ride home. No, you know her. Come on through. Right. We're gonna take you too. They don't care.
And think about it. It's almost like the police done read this to a certain extent, right? Because to the point that we were making. Now, if the person that got the stuff in the trunk, right, using that example, they know it's in there, right?
Yeah.
So the police is saying, hold on, what you mean? You riding around with somebody that you know, that person knew it was in the trunk. Like you can't, I asked them, and he said, yeah, he ride like that all the time. So you trying to tell me that this your homeboy, you been knowing him, and you ain't know he ride with that stuff in the trunk?
So you're not knowledgeable. You made a mess. You're not knowledgeable. You get in somebody's car, not even knowing. But we do it all the time if you think about it. Somebody you work with, somebody you know from church, whatever, somebody you just met. Yo, right up to the store. Okay, cool. You don't think about it until something happens and you hear, woo, woo. You go, oh, and they like, oh, sit up straight.
That is not the time to start asking questions. That's not the, hey, you got something here? Look, bro, it's too late if they do.
Very late.
Right.
Very late. But we ask questions way too late when we know that we in the crossfire.
Right. You got to be careful. Definitely.
You do, for sure.
So